And what investigators uncovered in that quiet Detroit home shattered every trace of trust. Isha Harris had been her friend for years. Paris England believed Harris when she said she would care for her 3-year-old daughter, Harmony Henderson, a nonverbal child with autism. She believed Harris because they were close. On the evening of March 17, 2024, Paris left Harmony in Harris's care, just for the night. It was supposed to be innocent, ordinary, and safe. But the next morning, when Paris returned to pick up her child, everything would unravel. Investigators later learned that during the night, Harris locked Harmony and her own 1-year-old child in a room for roughly 3 hours while she smoked marijuana elsewhere in the house. When she came back, Harris saw Harmony had vomited on herself. Rather than cleaning her or calling for help, prosecutors say Harris became enraged. According to court documents and law enforcement reports, she poured scalding water over Harmony's head and face. Then, in a moment of horrifying violence, she slammed the child's head against the side of the bathtub again and again. The blunt force trauma was catastrophic. Later that night, Paris called her friend to check on her daughter. Harris told her something that now reeks of deceit, that Harmony had fallen down the stairs and bumped her head, but was otherwise fine. She believed her. When she video called, she saw her daughter in bed, appearing peaceful, and she breathed a sigh of relief, believing her little girl was okay. But the next morning, when Paris returned to pick up her child, everything changed. Harmony lay unresponsive. She was already dead from the moment I got there, Paris later said, her voice breaking through tears. Paramedics were never called. Harris did not dial 911. Instead, they rushed Harmony to a hospital, where she was pronounced dead on arrival. The medical examiner confirmed blunt force trauma to the head was the cause of death. Detroit police officers from the Special Victims Unit responded, shaken by what they discovered. Captain Lori Carter, who later spoke of the case, said the details left her very disturbed. Harris was arrested on March 20th, 2025. She was originally charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse, but prosecutors negotiated a plea. In May 2025, she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. On May 29th, 2025, 3rd Judicial Circuit Judge Kelly Ramsey sentenced her to 28 to 50 years in prison. In court, Paris England confronted Harris with raw grief and searing pain. "My baby was 3. You were at her birthday party right before. And for you to kill her, for what?" she asked, her voice trembling. Harris's apology was brief, read through her attorney. She said she would forever be broken by what she did, asked for forgiveness, and wished for peace and healing for Harmony's family. Behind that plea deal lay years of friendship, trust shattered, and a mother's deepest sorrow. Paris and her family, her parents, grandparents, spoke about their loss. Her grandmother's voice cracked, "Only God can forgive you, because I can't forgive you right now." Harmony was described in the courtroom as a bright, vulnerable child, defenseless, her life cut short in unimaginable cruelty. Captain Carter's words still echo, "Nothing like this should ever happen to a child." In that moment, the entire foundation of trust that Paris placed in her friend collapsed. The horrifying reality was that the woman she trusted most became the source of her greatest tragedy. That is the story of Harmony Henderson. She should have been safe. She should have merely been asleep when her mother came back. But what happened that night in Detroit is a sorrow no parent should ever endure, a lesson in trust, betrayal, and the fragility of innocence.
She was more than a child in Harris's care. She was the heartbeat of her mother's world. Harmony Henderson, 3 years old, nonverbal, and living with autism, carried an innocence so pure that Paris England believed nothing could harm her in the arms of someone she loved. Harris wasn't just a babysitter. She was a longtime friend, someone Paris welcomed into her life without hesitation. Paris trusted Harris with the most precious things she had. Harmony's family was small but strong. Her father, Marquise Henderson, would later describe the autopsy. His little girl had died of blunt force trauma. Her disability made her all the more vulnerable. She could not tell them, she could not cry out. Her mother, Paris, had lifted her into Harris's home on that fateful evening of March 17th, 2024, believing she was doing exactly what was right. Aisha Marie Harris was 30 at the time, a friend, a trusted caregiver. According to investigators, she locked Harmony and her own 1-year-old daughter in a bedroom for about 3 hours while she smoked marijuana elsewhere in the house. She was supposed to be watching them. Instead, for those hours, she was absent. When Harris returned, the moment she saw Harmony's vomit-stained clothes, something inside her snapped. The reports in the court files say that she admitted to police what happened next. She poured scalding water over Harmony's head and face, not to soothe, but in fury. And then she slammed the child's head repeatedly against the side of the bathtub. Paris England said she video called that night, asking for a check-in. Harris told her Harmony had fallen down the stairs and bumped her head, but that everything was okay. Paris saw her daughter asleep, calm. She believed Harris's lie, a mother's relief in the dark of the night. But the morning brought a nightmare. Paris arrived to find Harmony motionless, lying quietly in bed, unresponsive. She was already gone. She was already dead from the moment I got there, Paris later said, her grief fracturing her voice. No 911 call had ever been made. Inside the courtroom, the weight of loss pressed down like a suffocating shadow. Harris pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in May 2025, reaching an agreement with prosecutors who dropped the more severe charges. On May 29, 2025, 3rd Judicial Circuit Judge Kelly Ramsey sentenced her to 28 to 50 years behind bars. When Harmony's grandmother stood to speak, her voice cracked under sorrow. She said, "Only God can forgive you because I can't forgive you right now." Her grandfather added through tears that no prison sentence could ever heal the wound they would carry for the rest of their days. Paris made her way to the center of pain. She looked at Harris and asked plainly, her words trembling, "And for you to kill her? For what?" Harris did not respond in her own words. Instead, through her attorney, she offered a short apology from the bottom of her heart, asking for forgiveness she didn't know if she deserved. The child she killed was more than an accident. Harmony was a little girl with autism, with a smile that lit up rooms and a spirit that should have been protected. And the woman she trusted most, her mother's friend, betrayed that trust in the cruelest possible way. What began as care ended in cruelty. In the hollow echo of the courtroom and in the empty cradle of a home now haunted by what was lost, there lies a question no parent should ever have to answer. How do you forgive someone who stole your child when you thought she was family?
In the quiet courtroom, as the weight of loss pressed into every corner, the full human dimensions of both families came into focus. And the raw, heartbreaking truth emerged in ways that made everyone there swallow hard, fight back tears. Harmony Henderson wasn't just a 3-year-old autistic child on paper. She was Paris England's world. According to court testimony, Paris often described her daughter as joyful, deeply trusting, and full of life. To hear prosecutors and investigators recount her final moments was to confront a parent's worst fear. Someone she loved, someone she trusted, had failed her. Aisha Harris, by contrast, carried with her a history of friendship. Paris had known her for years, and that familiarity bred a comforting, false sense of safety. But investigators later revealed that on the night of March 17, 2024, Harris locked Harmony and her own 1-year-old child in a bedroom for roughly 3 hours while she smoked marijuana. According to court documents, when she finally returned, she found Harmony had vomited on herself, and in that moment, her anger exploded. Prosecutors say Harris admitted in police interviews that she poured scalding water over Harmony's head and face. And then, in horrifying violence, she slammed the toddler's head against the side of the bathtub multiple times. The police report, read in court, described blunt force trauma to the head as the cause of death. When Paris called Harris late that night, fearing something was wrong, Harris lied. She told Paris that Harmony had fallen down the stairs and bumped her head, reassuring her that everything was fine. Paris saw her daughter on a video call, lying quietly, and she believed Harris because she was more than just a babysitter. She was family. But the next morning, when Paris returned, she found Harmony lifeless, unresponsive in bed, and her world shattered. As the trial moved forward, the community listened to prosecutors describe evidence of a struggle, blood on the tub, and Harris's own admissions. Captain Lori Carter of the Detroit Police Special Victims Unit, who responded to the hospital that day, later told the court, "The details, they left me very disturbed. Nothing like this should ever happen to a child." At the sentencing hearing on May 29, 2025, the courtroom stood still as Paris England spoke directly to Harris. With a voice cracking from grief, she asked, "What'd she do? For you to kill her, for what?" Her words not only echoed a mother's anguish, but a betrayal so deep it defied understanding. Paris reminded Harris that she had been there, at Harmony's birthday party, so close, so trusted. Harmony's grandmother, Sharia Cooper Lovelady, trembling, made an impact statement. "Only God can forgive you, because I can't forgive you right now." Her husband, Harmony's grandfather, added that no sentence could ever heal their wound. How do you even give her a chance to come home? Harris, through her attorney, offered a brief apology. "I pray for peace, for healing, for forgiveness. I will forever be broken. I'm sorry." But the apology, though sincere in tone, hung in the air like a fragile promise, one that could never undo what she had done. In the end, Judge Kelly Ramsey handed down a sentence of 28 to 50 years in prison. That day, justice felt both heavy and hollow. Heavy because of the enormity of what was lost, hollow because no legal penalty can bring Harmony back. And in that courtroom, in the tears, the voices, the silence that followed, listeners felt the weight of a child's life, stolen in a moment of rage, and a mother's grief that will never fully heal. The courtroom fell quiet in that moment, heavy with sorrow, trembling with words spoken and yet unspoken. The gravity of innocence, so violently taken, weighed on everyone present, like a shadow refusing to lift. Aisha Harris was more than a caregiver that night. She was someone Paris England believed in, someone she called friend.
The memory of that night haunted every witness, every family member, and every corner of the courtroom. In the weeks since Harmony's death, the community had tried to make sense of how a trusted friend, Aisha Harris, could become the person responsible for shattering a mother's faith and snuffing out a child's life. According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Harris was formally charged on March 21, 2024, after Detroit police responded to a home on the 1570 block of the Southfield Freeway earlier that day. At approximately 1:30 p.m., officers say the 3-year-old, Harmony, was found with grave injuries. The official charge sheet would later reveal the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the head, according to prosecutors. To Paris England, Harris wasn't a stranger. She was a longtime friend, someone she leaned on, someone she trusted. But the court would hear how, on that fatal day, Harris allegedly locked Harmony and her own 1-year-old daughter in a bedroom for 3 hours while she smoked marijuana elsewhere in the house. When she returned, prosecutors maintain, Harris was met with vomit-soaked clothes, and in that moment, rage overtook reason. Investigators say Harris admitted to police that she poured scalding water on Harmony's head and face. Then, according to court documents, Harris slammed the child's head repeatedly into the side of the bathtub. The medical examiner confirmed what no parent ever wants to hear: Harmony's death was the result of blunt force trauma. In interviews, Captain Lori Carter of the Detroit Police Special Victims Unit, one of the first officers on the scene, described arriving at the hospital to find Harmony already gone. The details she later told reporters left me very disturbed. Nothing like this should ever happen to a child. Paris confronted Harris by phone that night, a video call in which Harris told her that Harmony had fallen down the stairs and bumped her head. Paris believed her friend. She saw Harmony lying still, quiet, calm, and she let her guard down. But by morning, everything had changed.
When Paris returned, she found her little girl unresponsive in bed. "She was already dead from the moment I got there," Paris would later whisper, her voice broken by grief. When prosecution took over, Assistant Prosecutor Jennifer Douglas laid out the case. Harris allegedly told police, "I poured scalding water on top of the 3-year-old and slammed her head against the side of the bathtub." That statement, prosecutors said, came during her interview, a damning admission. In a hearing, the family's pain was laid bare. Harmony's father, Marquise Henderson, read from her autopsy report, her injuries, the violence, the cruelty. Paris, still reeling, asked Harris the question no one wants to ask, but everyone needs an answer to. What'd she do? For you to kill her for what? On May 29, 2025, Harris pled guilty to second-degree murder in Wayne County's 3rd Judicial Circuit Court and accepted a plea deal. Prosecutors dropped the felony murder and first-degree child abuse charges. Judge Kelly Ramsey sentenced her to 28 to 50 years in prison. As Harris made her statement, read through her attorney, she asked for forgiveness. "I pray for peace, for healing, for forgiveness. I will forever be broken. I'm sorry." But in the courtroom, that apology floated over a sea of grief. Harmony's shattered trust, Marquise's devastated heart, Harmony's absence so deeply felt. Harmony's family, her mother, her father, her grandparents, would carry the weight of her loss for the rest of their lives. The court delivered a sentence, but no prison term can restore a mother's smile or bring back the sound of her laughter. The courtroom's hush seemed to stretch forever, as if everyone inside held their breath not just for justice, but for a grieving mother, a shattered family, and the memory of a little girl who never spoke back. In the months following Harmony's death, Paris, England carried a grief that settled deep in her bones. She spoke softly in court, her voice trembling as she confronted Aisha Harris. "What'd she do? My baby was 3. You were at her birthday party, right next to me, and for you to kill her, for what?" Her words weren't just a question. They were a plea for meaning amid unbearable loss. Harmony's grandmother, Shariria Cooper Lovelady, rose to speak, tears streaming down her face. In a voice thick with sorrow, she told Harris, "Only God can forgive you, because I can't forgive you right now." Her father, Marquise Henderson, also spoke, raw and strained. How do you even give her a chance to come home? Their grief hung in the air, a story in itself of trust betrayed, of wanting more than a prison sentence, of wanting a little girl back. Harris addressed the court through her lawyer. Her apology was short but heavy. "I pray for peace, for healing, for forgiveness. I will forever be broken. I'm sorry." Her voice carried regret, but it also carried the weight that no words could restore Harmony's life. In that moment, Judge Kelly Ramsey pronounced her sentence, 28 to 50 years in prison. It was a verdict meant to deliver justice, but the room felt too big, the absence too profound. For Paris, Marquise, Shariria, and the rest of Harmony's family, the sentence was a legal reckoning, not a healing balm. From court documents to press statements, the case had been thoroughly laid bare. According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, Harris had been formally charged on March 21, 2024, after authorities found Harmony with fatal head injuries. The medical examiner determined the cause: blunt force trauma. In her own words, Harris told investigators she poured scalding water over Harmony's head and face, then slammed her against the side of a bathtub. Horrifying admissions that prosecutors say came during her interview with police. Captain Lori Carter of the Detroit Police Special Victims Unit, one of the first responders to the scene, would later say she was very disturbed by what she saw. The fact that 911 was never called, even after what Harris now admits she did, strikes like another wound in a case already full of pain. That is where the story stands today: a sentencing handed down, a little girl gone, a family left to pick up pieces. Harmony's life, small though it was, mattered deeply. Every tear shed in court spoke to that. If you've been moved by Harmony's story, please like this video, subscribe to Crime Scene 24/7,
Comment below with your thoughts and share this episode to raise awareness about child abuse and the importance of vigilance. Every share helps, because Harmony's voice, though she couldn't speak, still needs to be heard.